Welcome to Europe, Peter.
Thank you.
We're introducing Peter Fox-Spanner. Peter is the author of a book, Smart Power, and he's also the head of a group called the Brattle Group. Could you introduce us to yourself and to your group, please?
Yes, thank you. I'm Peter Fox-Spanner. I'm principal and former chairman of the Brattle Group. We are an economic and financial consulting firm with focus on energy, based in London and the US and Rome and Madrid. We do economic and financial, regulatory and policy analysis of all forms of energy, contract negotiations and those sorts of things. I have written this book called Smart Power that's really about the future of the electricity industry with climate change and smart grid and all of these changes we are seeing happening in the power industry.
That sounds very exciting. Could you explain to us in a few words what is actually smart power and what makes an energy system smart?
Sure. The original power system worked in only one direction. We had very large power plants and they would pump energy down to each customer, and the power system did not know anything about who was using the power, how much they were using, why they were using it. Mm-hmm. There was no knowledge of that. All they could do was look at one meter in their control station and see how much in total they had to produce from their power plants. So not very much information about the system. Now with digital control, we can know a tremendous amount about how people are using electricity in their homes and buildings, and we can control it and save these people lots of money, save a lot of carbon emissions, make the power system much more efficient. And that's what we call a smart power system.
How do you see smart power developing in the United States and smart power developing in Europe? Because you can compare this. Tell us a little bit more about the differences or the similarities between the two systems.
Yes. Well, in both the United States and Europe, the progress towards a smarter system or a smart grid, some people call it, it's quite uneven. There are places in the United States that are really moving ahead. New York is probably the leader, and they're trying to develop a new form of regulation for the utilities and a new design for the grid. So there's both a new business model, a new form of regulation, and lots of new technology to implement this grid. And that's happening in different parts of the US. It's also happening in different parts of Europe, more so in places like Italy than up in Eastern Europe. It's a little less developed, and it's a good idea to bring it up here.
Okay, so tell us a bit more about what you know about Eastern Europe. I mean, the market is changing. There are new regulations coming up. How do you see a country like Poland and its neighbors take up smarter ways of running the electricity grid and the electricity system?
Right. Well, the technology to implement the smart grid is very widely available now. You need to experiment with it and learn how to control the systems. They can be expensive because it's a big information system that controls your customer loads, even in real time. And so the architecture takes some engineering, and you have to work the economics very carefully because you don't want to spend too much money or buy equipment that will soon be obsolete. You have to match the bandwidth of the system to the applications and match to the number and types of customers and their uses. So all that needs to be customized correctly for Poland, but I think it's a good direction to run in, and it really goes well along with removing some of the carbon, which is so important to adapt to climate change. These new smart systems are extremely well designed to work with solar cells and combined heat and power in electric vehicles and new types of low carbon technologies. So you have a good combination of climate change strategies and smart grid.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.